Welcome to another episode of Assault Rifle Basics. I'm your host, Barry Lloyd.
And I'm your co-host, Buck Tyrell. So, what happened to our studio?
Yeah, I know things have changed a little bit. We lost our little basement studio because we needed the storage.
Mm-hmm.
But I know one day, someday, I don't know when, we'll have it back.
Actually, I think this couch is a little bit more comfortable anyways. What's that on your lip?
Well, before we get started on viewer email, there's something I'd like to really emphasize. Buck and I are not experts on assault rifles. As a matter of fact, we're just very curious beginners. We just happen to know what questions to ask.
That's right. And we've been receiving a lot of technical questions via email, and we do plan on asking the experts and finding out some of the answers, but please understand that me and Perry are not the experts.
However, if you're in need of immediate answers, we have a couple of suggestions for you.
One would be to join a forum where guns are discussed. The one we recommend is handgunforum.net, and it has a section in there called the General Long Gun Area, where plenty of experts are willing to share their information of all different types of rifles.
Another reason why we really like them is because I'd have to say they're a really friendly community. Too often, a person will go to a forum, ask a question, and immediately get called a noob. Well, these people are mature, friendly, and very knowledgeable. So if you have any questions at all about guns, I'm sure they're there to help you out and answer them. And by the way, just tell them that ARB sent you, and I'm sure you'll get treated really well.
Speaking about other mediums where you can learn about guns, there's a couple of other podcasts out there that are really informative.
Yeah, Buck. One I've really enjoyed is called the Armed Citizens Podcast. Now, it only comes out about once or twice a month, but you get to hear stories about gun owners who use guns in self-defense situations. You know, it's really true. You just don't hear stories like this on the news.
I know it's really interesting to hear how guns keep people alive, you know, how people protect themselves, their families. You just don't hear or see that on the mainstream news.
Another podcast you can find is Mark Vandenberg's Gun Rights Advocates Podcast. Now, he gets more into the politics of guns.
Well, we stated in the beginning that we weren't going to be getting into the politics of guns, but since the new government that's been put into place since the last election, something tells me that if you like guns, you're going to want to pay attention to what's going on.
That's right, Buck. I think there's a lot of restrictions on the way. As a matter of fact, you better start saving your pennies, dimes, and dollars now and buy it right away, because it might not be available in the future.
Oh, and one more thing. We've been receiving a lot of different requests to cover different makes and models of guns, so we want to cover as many as we can find locally.
And you know what? Fortunately, there's plenty of guns available locally.
But we are a small budget, well, actually, no budget operation, so we'll try to do the best we can.
Yeah, the dream is to get sponsors that can fly us pretty much anywhere we need to go to get information that you want about your favorite assault rifle.
Yeah, and we'll be happy to shoot them for you, too.
Okay, Buck. Let's get to viewer email now.
Let's do it.
Okay, Buck. Our first email comes from ex-Master Corporal Norman, won't say his last name, in Canada. He's an ex-Canadian Armed Forces Reserve member.
Wow.
And he's responding to, the plastic mags I talked about in the other episode.
Thermals?
Yeah, thermals. When I was in the reserves, I was issued my C7, that's the Canadian version of the M16, and had mostly thermal mags in my rig, and I loved them to death, but I noticed that slowly they were becoming less and less common, and that the steel mags were taking their place. And that's true. I've tried to find them. I can't find them. Even our boys in Afghanistan have steel mags. I believe it came to cost and general availability of the two kinds of mags. I did manage to break a few mags that were in my butt bag when I would hit a wall or the ground with some force. So the thermal mags are lighter in weight, but with that trade you lose some on the strength the steel mags offered, and the thermals I found were a bit harder to fit into my pouch because they were wider. So I'm sure if you looked in the right place, you can find some here and there if you looked at some Canadian firearm websites.
Okay, here's the thing.
What?
Now, unless you're literally in the military and you're out there receiving fire, man down, get down, cover fire, whoa, running around.
Incoming!
Incoming, gee, something.
Hit the dirt!
Yeah, now then you're going to want some steel mags, right?
Yeah.
But just us people just out here having fun plinking cans around and stuff, if the thermals work and they're good and they're lightweight and they're cheaper, buy them.
For sure. Those cans don't fight back.
All right. Anyways, let's get on to Chris from Connecticut. He writes, Dear Perry and Buck, hello, my name is Chris, and I just want to say you and Buck are doing a hell of a show. But I like your show's format, making it fun and informative. I'd also like to say your show doesn't seem to show a total anti-gun control bias, which I think is good, fair and balanced. I'd also like to say I think I've figured out a way a Colt is more expensive than a Bushmaster. The Colt version of the AR-15 uses aircraft-grade aluminum for the receiver, while Bushmaster's AR-15 uses carbon fiber composites on the receiver. Supposedly that makes the rifle stronger and definitely is cheaper than the aluminum. Also, the Bushmaster has a high twist rate due to the grooves in the barrel, which is counted in the number of inches per rotation. The Bushmaster has a typical rate of 1 to 9, while Colt has 1 to 12 twist rates. Twist rate is vital for the stabilization of a bullet, so the greater the twist rate, the greater the stabilization. I love your podcast and have showed it to several friends. You guys are awesome and keep up the good work.
Okay, Chris, this is what we found out. I spoke with Bushmaster. They do manufacture their larger rifles using the aircraft-grade aluminum, just because they want to meet military specs on those particular guns. Now, the smaller carbines, they, however, are made of the carbon-filled composite that you talked about, and that does make for a lighter gun. There's actually some advantages, not necessarily that they're cheaper, but just makes it lighter. And as far as the twist rate goes inside those barrels, we haven't checked on that.
We don't know.
You went over our heads on that, Chris. So we're going to say that's a...
We're going to say that's all you, buddy.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your email. I got another one here from Brandon from Texas, Sugar Land, Texas.
Good old Texas.
Dear Perry and Buck, please make more podcasts. I'm a huge fan. I don't shoot, but I'm thinking of getting a rifle. Do you have any suggestions for someone that's 12? And please make more podcasts. For somebody who's 12.
Somebody who's 12. Okay, here's the thing. I know we say it all the time, right? We're not experts, okay? And we're definitely not going to tell no 12-year-old what gun to get.
Actually, you need to talk to mom and dad or whoever your guardian is and see if they're agreeable about it. I don't think you're going to be able to buy one without mom or dad's help anyway. And you know what? Texas is full of gun experts. You just walk into any gun store and they'll be able to see. Here's the deal, Brandon. You could be a very short, small 12-year-old, and the last thing you want is an AK-47. It could knock you over.
Get yourself a 410 and relax.
However, you could be a 6-foot-tall 12-year-old, 380 pounds or something. Big kid. You could probably handle pretty much anything. But once again, mom and dad, gun expert locally, and then you'll get the rifle.
Perry and Buck, having fun making a show.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Do not shoot your friends.
Oh, sorry. I guess I'm not ready for the next one here. I gotta find it. Sorry, guys. I don't have a picture of an assault rifle to send in, or even my own yet. But I had to send in a comment about how much I enjoyed the last episode. Unless you can convince me otherwise, I'm pretty sold on getting an AR-15 in the near future. Keep up the great work. Love the podcast. That's Rich MD. Oh, P.S. by the way, I want to start my own website. Have purchased the domain, but have yet to incorporate any content. It says here it's www.docswithglocks.com. What do you think? Great title, huh?
I think so too, because see, Doc, you can shoot them, and if they ain't dead, you can fix them. That's a pretty cool thing.
That works. I like
Medic! Medics need to know how to shoot.
Hey, don't go jumping around the directory. We've got more coming up. We'll be right back.